Hello a chroeso i'n sesiwn Holi ac ateb Ddiffoddwr Tân Ar Alwad. Hello and welcome to our On-Call Firefighter live stream Q&A. Rydw i yma heddiw gyda reolwr grŵp Mark Kift a reolwr gorsaf Lauren Jones sydd yma heno i siarad am rolau Ddiffoddwr Tân Ar Alwad gyda gwasanaeth Tan ag Achub De Cymru. I'm here with Group Manager Mark Kift and Station Manager Lauren Jones, who are here to talk about On-Call Firefighter roles in South Wales Fire and Rescue Service. Mae nhw yma i gynnig cyngor ac ateb eich cwestiynau ac wedyn mae'n croesawu cwestiynau yn y Gymraeg a'r Saesneg, felly gofynnwch yn y blwch sgorsio. They're here to offer advice and answer all of your questions, and we welcome questions in both English and Welsh, so please ask away in the chat box function. Os ni allwch aros am y llif byw cyfan, byddwn yn rannu'r fideo a'n sianeli cyfryngau cymdeithasol. If you're not able to stay for the entire live stream, we'll be sharing the video on our social media channels. Felly, gadewch i ni ddechrau. Let's get started. So I don't know if you guys just want to start talking about what an on-call firefighter is?
Well, I can actually, I pass you over to Lauren Jones, who was actually an on-call firefighter before she became a whole-time firefighter. So I welcome Lauren.
I actually joined the on-call with South Wales Fire and Rescue Service in 2011. At the time, I was a student in the University of Wales Institute Cardiff, studying to become a PE teacher. And I joined the on-call as it's something I'd always wanted to do from a very young age. So as well as doing my degree at the time, I became an on-call firefighter in Rumney, where I attended a number of courses, where I obtained lots and lots of skills that could be obviously passable then into many different careers. I stayed with the on-call for 7 years before I then transitioned over into the whole time. So then obviously there I went on a different path, came across into the whole time, and then obviously decided to go up through the roles within the fire service. For me, on-call, really about giving something back to the local community, as well as obtaining lots of transferable skills. It was being very visible within the community and being able to put something back into the areas in which you live.
Immense amount of pride. Yeah, immense amount of pride as well. But from what I can see from all our on-call firefighters, they are very community-based and community-minded, and they love their community and they love being part of our family as well, the fire service, and giving back to that community as well. It's a really rewarding role to be an on-call firefighter.
Definitely, and the service as well, they give you lots of opportunities to be able to do different courses, the skills you pick up throughout your time and your career in the job, the qualifications now that you pick up. It definitely does put you in good stead as well, and it's transferable, like I said previously, into other walks of life and careers.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to be part of a team. Our core values. So we've got caring, dedication, discipline, dynamic. We're also professional, resilient, respectful, we're trustworthy, and that's massive being part of that team as well. And it is that family environment that we work in when you're on that watch, on that on-call station. When your alerter goes, which I'll come onto in a little bit, but when that alerter goes, and I've done it as well because I was on call in Abercarn, just up by Newport. Your alerter goes, your adrenaline pumps, you drive to the call because you've got to live within 5 minutes of an on-call station, as you're aware.
Yeah.
Drive at normal road speed, and then when you don't know what you're going to get, do you? You really don't. It could be alarms, it could be somebody in a lift, it could be a lift rescue, it could be any massive amount of different types of calls that we go to. Yeah, it is really good. Have we got any questions?
Nothing just yet, but obviously you did touch on a little bit about the qualifications. You said you were doing a degree at the time, and obviously you say that through doing the role you do get qualifications, but do you need any formal qualifications when you apply?
So in order to join the fire service, there is no formal requirement for any qualification. However, we do advocate that people have a certain level of literacy and numeracy, as obviously that is assessed through the recruitment element of it as you come through. So we do encourage people to have that, but officially there is no formal need for any qualifications, and I think that removes a lot of barriers for people as well, as the job is very much practical and out there engaging with the communities. So communication skills are really important as well, because you are going to be working with the community on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and our whole recruitment process is So you can either apply through our website, or you can use, we've got a new system now with QR codes, because they've been prevalent through the pandemic. So you can QR code onto our website, and there's the application form. And within 4 days, once you fill that application form, it will be back to that station, and then you will meet with a station commander like Lauren, and she'll carry out what's called a suitability. So that suitability is, are you right for the station and the station profile that we need? Have you got the skills that we're looking for? And if not, we can give you those skills in your 2-year training. So if suitability is completed, we'll invite you to a PMP. So that's a physical and practical test. So you'll have an interview carried out on station. You answer some questions with a panel. Then you will turn up to one of our on-call PMP days, which are now bi-monthly at Abercarn Fire Station. And we'll put you through a number of tests that firefighters carry out on a daily basis when they're at incidents. So you'll do your ability test, which is basic English and math. Then you will carry out a bleep test. You will do an equipment carry from equipment off the appliance. We do things like ladder lifts. So that's to see if you've got the upper body strength to be able to lift the ladder back onto the appliance and to be able to maneuver a ladder in an incident or in a training environment. If you're successful at that, you go on then to the medical stage, and our employee relations and recruitment will carry out your pre-employment checks. And then you'll be through and invited then to join our family and come on a 2-week initial course. And it's 11 days of training. It's 10 days of practical on the yard, practical assessments. There are written exams as well to see if you've got the knowledge base. And you know, we'll drip feed that knowledge into you to bring you on through that 2-week period. And in the middle of that, you'll actually have a safe working from height. So you'll have a safe working from height qualification as well, to be able to ascend and descend a ladder safely with our equipment. And then from there, then it's onto your station, and that's when your fire service journey really begins. That's when the learning begins, and that's when you've got to be like a sponge. You've got to take in all this information and be able to give it back to that community. But it's such a rewarding job. Absolutely.
I think it's quite prevalent to touch there as well. Mark, you mentioned about the Bleep Test. I think we need to mention there, as a firefighters, we do need a certain level of fitness.
Absolutely.
There is a requirement for that. And just encourage people really, if they are thinking of applying, is just to get yourself in the gym, get down to your local stations, and people on those stations will be able to talk you through what the tests are, what the requirements are. So you're not turning up to those tests blind. You've had an opportunity. They're online. You can actually access the tests online via YouTube. So have a look at what the tests are and really just get going and preparing yourself for the tests as well.
Well, funny you mention that. We're actually doing a Firefighter Fit day at Abercarn, your station, on Saturday between 10 and 1. We've had, how many have we got invites at the moment?
We've got 14 people.
14 people, so, you know, there's space there. If you want to come down and try out and see if what we spoke about really whets your appetite to join our family, become a member of South Wales Fire and Rescue Service, please come down and join our taster day. It's well worthwhile. It'll be a really good opportunity.
And I think as well, perhaps we need to mention about obviously the qualifications that individuals who join are going to get from it.
Yes, absolutely.
So obviously we've gone down our Skills for Justice route and the apprenticeship route. So as well as taking part and gaining experiences in courses and out within your community, you are actually going to be coming out with a qualification at the end of your probationary period, which is a period of between 18 and 24 months. So you're much more desirable then to organisations and companies, as well as having developed yourself as an individual. You're also desirable to other people out there within the world of work.
Absolutely. So talk us back to your experience, Lauren, of joining the on-call from the university. So very welcoming straight away into that family environment. And you obviously lived in your area. You wanted to serve that community.
Yeah, definitely. Again, very, very welcoming. Majority of stations are very family orientated, family based. You're working within a community that you live in, so you know the people that you're serving, you know the people that you're working with. And I can relate to as well. I spent a period of time, probably about a year of my on-call career, serving in Abergavenny, an area which I'd moved to because of my main employment at the time. And again, straight into Abergavenny station, not knowing the area or anybody within the station, and welcomed with open arms. I think that's something a value that the fire service portray throughout is welcoming and caring, like you said, one of our values.
Definitely, it's absolutely a family environment, whole time or on call. We all attend incidents together. We've got that really good camaraderie within our family, haven't we? Yeah.
Okay, and if we move on a little bit, so maybe we should talk about responding to an incident, and you mentioned the alerters earlier. If we could just explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so we ask anybody that applies for the on-call to live within 5 minutes of their chosen station, and we respond you. Our fire controller will take the call, and then the alerters will, what we call the alerters, will drop. So your alerter will, it's a little, it's about the size, a little bit bigger than that camera, and it'll go off and it'll make a loud noise, and then you get in your car and you respond to station, where you will don all your PPE and get on the appliance, and then the officer in charge of the appliance will read we call it the tip sheet, so that's the call sheet, and whatever call you go into. So in that journey from joining the on-call on day one up to all through your career, we've got to remember that we're going to somebody in a time of need, and it could be the worst day of their life. So whether you've been in for that first day and you're in the back of in the back of the fire appliance, or you're coming to the end of your career, they see a uniform, a disciplined organisation, caring organisation. We're there to help them in that really critical time of need.
I think you don't have to necessarily be turning out in terms of driving. I know from where I lived, it was a short 250-metre run to the fire station. No individuals that used to cycle into the fire station. So, but I think what we've got to be mindful is that time limit, that 5 minutes, and that doesn't have to necessarily be from your home. It could be from your workplace. So if your workplace is near to an on-call fire station and your main employer will allow you to turn out from their workplace. And I think we're devising packs at the moment, aren't we, Mark?
We have. We've got employing an on-call firefighter for any businesses out there that have employees that wish to join our organisation. We can forward you the pack we put together with all the information in there for you. So I really encourage you, if you are an employer watching this feed, please give back to that community as well, and you're going to get a person that's going to have that family team building and transferable skills as well. First aid, we first aid train our staff, breathing apparatus, and further on down the career then, if you want to drive, you can drive the appliance as well, and we train to a very high standard.
Okay, and are there any sort of like age limits or any type of restrictions when applying for the roles?
So you could apply for the role at the age of 17 and 6 months. However, you have to be 18 years of age on the first day of your training course. So obviously, if you are thinking about it, there's nothing really stopping you from getting that application form in, going through that process of, like Mark said, the physical and the practical tests, the medical stage of it. There's nothing stopping you doing that in preparation for a course on that 18th birthday.
Absolutely, and we run courses on a next year on a 3-monthly basis. So in our training centre at Cardiff Gate, so that's really good. Our big training centre, there's lots of activities going on. You will interact with all different types of the community there as well, different organisations doing their training there. So you can see a really big training venue that's really equipped for the modern firefighter.
That's great. And I think obviously you've spoken a lot about how people will tend to do on-call alongside maybe another employment opportunity. So how would that work?
With contractual or with the employment. So when you join the on-call, you start on a 42-hour contract. So what we'll ask the individual to give, when they do that suitability at the employment stage, we will ask them to give their availability around their employment. And out of all those hours they give us their availability, the supervisory manager who does we call it the crewing, so he arranges for that appliance to be crewed with 5 people. He will put that person on the rota in certain blocks, and that's your on-call time. And after you've done your breathing apparatus course, we'll allow you to up your contract as well.
Okay. How many different types of contracts are there?
There's 8 contracts ranging from 31.5 hours up to 105, and they go up and down in 10.5-hour increments. So if you're finding that the family friendly is too much, we can lower contracts. So if somebody thinks, I can give a bit more back to my community again, I want to be there serving that community, we can go up in contracts as well.
Okay, great. And what type of wages can people expect to gain from this role?
You can earn up to just over £13,000 on a 105-hour contract when you're a competent firefighter. But a 42-hour firefighter in development when they come to competent. I believe it's about £3,500, £3,800 per annum. And that's alongside their other employment as well.
Yeah.
And it can be used for gaining mortgages and any loans, because it's a wage from our employer.
That's great. And what type of other benefits are there for working with the service?
Like we said earlier, the transferable skills that you're going to get, how that looks to other employees or employers, you're going to be gaining, or when you're on stations, you're going to have access to training courses through the fire service, but not only the fire service, through other organisations as well. So you can attend training courses, you'll have access to gym facilities on fire stations. I think that's quite a big thing to point out, is fitness and maintaining that fitness. You've got access to that. And again, there's lots of transferable areas that you can pass on into your main employment.
As well as like a rewarding and satisfying career as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And obviously we talk about how many on-call stations we have across South Wales, but realistically, how many jobs are there, would you say?
We're always recruited because of our retirement profile and general life. People join our on-call, they may do 5, 6, 7 years, and they might go to another employer, they might move out the area, they have a young family, they might want to drop their contract down, but every station is recruiting. We are actively looking for members of the public to join our organisation and family and serve their community.
I think the biggest thing we can say here is, if you know there is a fire station in your local area, an on-call station, is go there. That fire station will have what we call a drill period every week, a drill night, where there will be crew members there. And I think the biggest thing is to go there and to have that conversation. And they will welcome you in with open arms, because we are continually looking for people. So to just attend your local session, obviously access the website, and you'll be able to see the days that certain stations train on, and go along and have a look and have a go.
So from application stage to actually being on station, how long would you say it takes for someone to actually become an on-call firefighter?
So from point of contact to on a course, we're looking at about 14 to 16 weeks. If everything goes okay, if your medical goes okay, with your pre-employment checks, I'd love to be 12 weeks, and that's what I'm striving for. And we'd love it that we can have that member of the public that's come into our team in 12 weeks on a fire engine, serving the community.
Great. And we talk about serving the community. So besides incidents, which we can go into a little bit more later, what type of other activities can someone expect to be doing as part of an on-call contract? So
as part of their on-call contract, we go into schools, so into education facilities. We educate children at Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2 level. So we deliver a fire safety message. We also go in and deliver road safety messages to older individuals within secondary schools. We go into the local community on a weekly basis in most areas to fit smoke alarms, to do safe and well visits, so to check people's properties, to really limit the risk of fires in the home. We deliver presentations to groups within the community. So one example I can give you, an elderly group within Rumney. We went and delivered advice on safety within the home. We also delivered some advice on driving and the impacts of what we call the domino effect. So there's lots of things we do out in the community. You probably see us very, very visual, be visible in our communities continually. We're out at school fetes, okay? So we're attending lots and lots of engagement events with the community. So hence why I said earlier, really developing people's communication skills, really getting out there and engaging with all different members of our community.
And you have to remember that there's no upper age limit to join. So we can have somebody from school. We can have somebody that's had masses of life experience that can bring that into our team as well, and they'll have skills that we can use. So it works both ways with those individuals coming to our team.
Definitely, that's great. And we've just had a question come through. So someone's not sure if on-call is for them. So what type of advice would you give for someone looking to apply?
I would echo what Lauren's just said. And if you live near an on-call fire station, please come down and see us. You can access our website, all the information on our website, where the nights we drill, our locations, and please come down.
The biggest thing for me, I think, is unless you've tried it, you don't really know what it's about. And I think you've got to have that element of try it, and then you can turn around and say that probably wasn't really for me, and at that point then walk away. But I think for me is try it, go down, have that conversation, get outside your comfort zone and have a go.
Yeah, and don't go through life saying what if. At least you can say, I've tried that occupation, I've tried that, you know, it can take you through your life. The skills you get are outstanding.
Great. And we touched earlier about like the types of incidents. So will on-call firefighters go to the same type of incidents as whole-time firefighters?
On-call, yeah, they attend every incident that the whole-time crew would attend. So like Mark said earlier, that could be from simple as alarms activating in a property or a premises. It could be a water incident, okay, so it could be somebody in the water. Obviously more prevalent now with flooding that we've got during the winter months. Grass fires at this moment in time, okay, so wildfires, grass fires, property fires, chemical incidents, road traffic collisions. So the range of incidents we go to is really diverse.
Yeah, and we've also got we've got to look after our individuals as well. So when we sometimes go into these incidents, they're going to see things that they wouldn't normally see in their everyday life. So we've got a very good well-being structure in place to look after the individuals as well throughout, right up to our senior management, because we will all attend incidents. So we've got, you know, you've got that family around you, but there's always, we can signpost to help as well if someone requires that help. And that's a massive part of our organisation to help our individuals and to make sure that we're safe, the community's safe, both physically and mentally as well.
That's great. And I just think, obviously, talking about the role a little bit more, is it okay to have like tattoos and body piercings now? I know previously those type of things, maybe not so much, but
I think you're a prime example here, Mark.
I'm a prime example. So yes, tattoos are fine. Body piercings, for operational duties, they would have to be removed, the same as wedding rings and watches when we go on operational calls. So with the on-call, they'll know when they're on duty. So as leaders in the service, we'd expect them to adhere to our core values and our contract of employment and just remove body piercings before they come on duty.
And just talking about maybe, Lauren, your experience, is there anything that sort of stands out the most with on-call? Any sort of standout incidents or?
Like I said, in the 7 years I worked at the on-call, you attend a vast range. The first call you go to, you'll always be a bit like rabbit in the headlights, but you grow into the role and the people around you continually support you. And you'll go to things that you've never ever been to, but I think that's the biggest learning. It's practical learning and you're learning on the job continually as you go along. So for me, the biggest thing that stands out is that pride and that when you help someone, like Mark said, you're going to someone at the darkest time for most people. So it's really when you come away and you have that moment of reflection of that what you have done, the actions you have carried out there have really helped someone, and I think that's what you take away from it the most.
And we also help after the incident as well. So when they're having their worst time, that worst time of their life, we can get other agencies involved to support them as well through the police, the ambulance. You know, we can really engulf that person in help and I call it the big cutch. We give them a nice big neighbourhood cutch where everybody will help them.
Great, and we just had another question come through. So someone's looking to apply for the fire service, would eventually like to be whole-time, and is just wondering, would you say that an on-call role would support that, or is it a good entry into it?
Almost definitely.
Definitely.
I can probably answer that question for you. Almost definitely. It's going to give you an insight into the role. It's going to give you an experiences through the courses, what is expected of you. It gives you an insight into the service, the values. You really become embedded in an organisation. So I think almost definitely it does help you to come in whole time, and it will help you then to come across.
Definitely, and if we talk, so from what you say, it's quite similar, the on-call to the whole time in terms of like incidents and everything. Are there any more similarities? So in terms of promotions, things like that?
Absolutely, yes. You can once you're qualified, once you're a competent firefighter, you can go through the on-call promotion process as well as crossing over as well to the whole time. So we still need an on-call supervisory management structure in place on station the crew managers, the watch manager, and the station manager will manage that station overarching. Exactly the same as our whole time. Just they live in their community and they go to that appliance and they help that community.
Yeah, great. So we're just waiting for a few more questions now. So if you don't mind, I'll just ask you a few off the cuff. Just we prepared a few things beforehand. So I think a popular one is maybe previously there were height restrictions, things like that. Is there anything in place like that now?
We have no height restrictions. We have a different range of heights in our service, and we all do exactly the same job, and it's a great joy to see.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice if we could talk about just how the service is obviously open to people from all types of backgrounds and everything too. Obviously, we're quite involved in things like Pride and everything, so
fully inclusive service.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. And just potentially maybe about people's personal lives, things like criminal convictions in their past.
So I believe we've actually got a statement prepared for this. I wanted to actually get this right. So Gina, would you mind reading that statement so that we can get the narrative right?
So it's just all unspent convictions must be declared on your application. Please note that convictions and cautions will not necessarily stop you from being considered. Under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act 1974, you do not have to declare spent convictions. If you're not sure about your convictions, if they're spent or unspent, please refer to the NAPRO Disclosure Service on their website, where you can find a full list of their main sentences and orders. Also, if you're just a bit unsure, you can always contact our teams. We're happy to help if you reach out to our personnel email address. Yeah. Our team are great, happy to help you in any way that they can.
I think that's our organisation in general. We are there to help. We're there to help the communities, and that's what we strive for, is keeping our community safe over everything.
Definitely. So I think, obviously from what you guys have said today, it's a huge opportunity for growth. You get a lot from it in terms of qualifications and also a lot of personal experience and working with people on the station. So unless we have any more questions sort of like flow in, I don't know if you guys just want to talk maybe a bit more freely about the role.
We can do, can't we?
We certainly can.
So my journey, I started in 1998, and I've been a firefighter all around Newport, Barry I serve. So you can serve all over as a whole-time firefighter, not just in your community. Then I actually went whole-time and on-call. So I was an on-call firefighter in Abercarn. I was also a whole-time firefighter over in Kevin Forest at the time. So I had both sides of the coin. I was helping my community, and I was into another community then, migrating into that community to help that one during my shifts. And it's exactly the same with Lauren.
Yeah, so when I came over then to whole-time, obviously I'd experienced the role through the on-call initially. I came over to the whole-time, and I served at that time in Caerphilly as a whole-time firefighter, and Abergavenny at the time as an on-call firefighter. So again, seeing two different elements of the service in two different communities. Like I said, the biggest thing I think for the on-call is the commitment and the time, but you are giving something back to your local area, and you're serving the people you've grown up with and your families know as well. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just giving that little bit back, and even being able to go back into the school which I left and delivering messages to the school and community messages, safety messages within those schools. I think that's huge. That's why I would really encourage anybody who is potentially sat on the fence at this moment in time, should I, shouldn't I, don't look back and think, I wish I'd done that. I think definitely give it a go, and if you decide later down the line it's not for you, it's easier then to walk away from it.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a good statement.
We've just had another question pop through. So someone works shifts with their current role. Can the on-call availability be flexible around this? So
we've got a maximum flexibility. So we will ask around their shifts, around the shift system. So I'll say, for instance, if somebody works days regular, we will ask them to give every hour around that contract, around that is normal work. But what will happen then is those hours. So if somebody's on a 42-hour contract, they will choose 42 hours out of the availability, the engulfing availability, to put that person on the fire engine to make a crew of 5 or 4 if it's on a whole-time station. Because we have an on-call complement on some whole time stations as well. It's called the second appliance. So yeah, there is flexibility around the availability, and that's down to the supervisory manager who carries out the crew in. And yeah, it's just come and give it a go.
What type of cover are we looking for mainly, would you say, with on-call roles?
Every station is different,
Yes.
and I think we've got to take that bear that in mind. Every single station throughout South Wales will be requiring different cover. I'll speak on behalf of Abercarn. We need a range of people who can provide daytime cover, nighttime cover, and weekends. I know there are other stations out there that are mainly focusing on daytime cover, but that's a conversation that shouldn't be a barrier to anybody who's thinking of applying. That's that conversation you can have at suitability level when you get to the station, and that's a conversation you can have with that station commander.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we're ready to probably wrap up for this evening, but the biggest takeaway would be to just approach the station, wouldn't it? If you're interested in the role, pop down to a drill night or an event and speak to someone.
Definitely utilise the service, the website, get on there, obviously the social media links that we have, identify where your local station is, identify when their drill night is, and just go along and have a look for yourselves.
And I've started that conversation. And in that community, if you are living in an area, you will probably know somebody that's on call. So there's that conversation started, and go and see a friendly face. And do you know what I mean? Somebody you know, somebody that, oh, I know so-and-so's been doing the on-call for a while. I'm interested now. I've seen this little chat we've had tonight, and I think, do you know what? I'm gonna be more and give it a go.
Going to be more and give it a go. Love that.
Give it a go.
So thank you all for joining in today and finding out a bit more about our on-call firefighter roles with the service. As I mentioned earlier, we will have the video available in a few days on our social media channels, so please check back in for us. I hope we were able to answer all of your questions that you might have had about the role. If you do have anything else, please reach out to us on our social media channels. Thank you.